On the Wado Radio Show.
Yeah, man, it's DJ Wado. It's the Wado Radio Show. It's more than music, it's ministry, man. And we have a friend of the show on the line, man. This brother is a sports columnist. I think he's been doing this 15, 16 years at this point, man, for the San Jose Mercury News. He's so plugged into the Golden State Warriors, San Francisco 49ers, Oakland Raiders, all of those Bay Area sports teams, man. He is like the guy. And he's a huge Christian rap fan, man. So he's winning on all fronts, man. Marcus Thompson is on the line with us, man. What's up, brother? Marcus, you there?
My bad. I accidentally pressed mute. You know, a little drama, a little suspicion, a little mystery helps.
Oh my goodness, man! How you doing, though, bro?
Man, I'm in Las Vegas for Team USA. So begins the chronicles of the Warriors super team with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. And so it's already on, man. I'm supposed to be on break, but I guess there's no rest for the weary no more.
Man, dude, you got like the best job in the world, bro. Like, and I know it's hard. It's not easy, but I'm just saying, just being able to kind of have an upfront and close look at, you know, all that's going on with Golden State, with San Francisco, through, you know, even through their ups and downs, man, is, you know, the 49ers, and even, you know, I'm leaving out baseball, but the Giants, you know what I mean? Like,
you know, when I was growing up, like in East Oakland, you know, I just wanted a job. Right? I was like, man, when I grow up, I want a job. I want something stable because, you know, I came from an environment that was anything but stable.
Sure.
So my goal was just like, man, I remember when we were young, like every year or so, it was like a big deal about paying the taxes. It was like, oh, they gonna take the house because we ain't pay our taxes. And I remember like being, you know, you're a helpless kid.
Yep.
I remember just like, man, I just want to be able to, I want to be able to pay taxes and it not be a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes it does hit me, like when you're at the World Series and the Super Bowl and the NBA Finals all in the same like year.
Right.
It's like, man, this is like, you know, like it could have gone different than this.
Yeah. Like,
you know, there are plenty of people who have good jobs, solid jobs, right, who make a good living, but like this for me is next level. This is like a dream come true. So that definitely is not lost on me how blessed I am to be doing this.
Did you, I mean, and I know for a lot of us, man, we're not even able to attend sports games as kids just because of the finances. Were you one of those kids that, like, did you even grow up going to games at all?
Man, you know, the Oakland A's used to have like all kind of like hookups for, you know, for the poor and unfortunate, right?
Sure.
So they would have like a Saturday game where they playing whoever, Milwaukee, and it would be like $5 to get you in with a root beer float.
Wow.
So we would walk like from like 105th to 73rd where the stadium is.
Sheesh.
You know, hustle up $5 and you know, I got to go to those games.
Yeah.
You know, you know, other than that, it was like, hey man, you had to know a security guard or have a way to sneak in, but you know, growing up in the hood, like that's not abnormal to figure out a way to hustle your way into stuff. So that was my existence with professional sports back then.
Crazy how everything comes full circle, right?
Man, let me tell you now. But you can't even sneak in games no more. That's like the gold part, right?
Yeah, you
can't even like if you was innovative and had some ingenuity about you, you could work your way into an NFL game. Now you gotta have $100. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. You ain't sneaking in, bro. Security tight, man.
Security ain't playing. Now, plus they building these palaces like it ain't like a fence. You know what I'm saying? Where
right.
you just have your homie distract the security guard where you have to fence.
Hey, look, man,
Like,
Tom Brady couldn't even deflate the footballs without them having that on camera some kind of way, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And he taking a 4-game L. So,
Right.
So a little dusty kid with no money, he ain't got a shot.
Man, bro. So, man, talk to me about this Warrior super team, man. Is this actually going to work, bro?
I mean, look, you can't. What we've learned in sports is that nothing is guaranteed, right? And almost the more you start thinking stuff is a lock, the more likely it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think we've learned enough to say there is a chance it could work. I just don't see how it wouldn't. You know, like, and that's what makes sports great, right? If it doesn't work, this would be like one of the biggest choke jobs in the history of sports.
Yeah.
You know, like coming off the biggest choke job in NBA Finals history.
Right.
So I just don't see how. Like, here's how I see it. Like, the Warriors were one shot, maybe two shots for being back-to-back champions. Steph Curry was on the hobbled knee. Andrew Bogut is out with an injury.
Yep.
You know, the NBA suspended Draymond for Game 5. Like, all this stuff had to happen. Kyrie goes nuts. You know, like, everything like falls against the Warriors, and they were two shots from winning the title.
Right.
And then they go add Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to me, thinking about, like, who do you guard on this team? Like, you got Steph, Clay, and Kevin Durant. Like, who you guarding? I just don't. I'm trying to figure out. I need to see more of Kevin Durant's weaknesses up front. I just don't know how you're going to guard this team. And I still feel like the way last season ended, I think that's going to make Steph play even better, because I mean, he was the most not happy with how he played. So I think he got the chip back on his shoulder that I think he might have lost because, you know, he got so big.
I mean, how disappointed were those guys after that Game 7 loss? Because to me, to be on that stage and to be up 3-1 and the way it kind of happened, it was like it almost seemed like that's something that just, if you weren't in that situation, you can't even understand how disappointed those guys must have felt after that game, man.
I think they were mostly shocked first.
Really?
You know, I think that the disappointment might have hit them later. Look, man, like, they don't lose those games.
Yeah.
They just didn't. Like, all year, every time you thought, oh, okay, here we go. Like, it finally caught up to them. They would find a way to win. And then on top of that, they came back from down 3-1 to OKC.
Wow.
They felt invincible. And then they up 3-1. At every point, they're like, we're going to win. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. We're going to win. We're going to win. I think when it actually didn't happen, at first it was like, I still can't believe it. Like, they'd say stuff like, you know, we feel like we're the better team. We let it slip away. But you just didn't get that sense of that it really hit them yet. And then I think afterwards, you know, when everybody started talking about they choked, and I bet watching the Cleveland parade,
Sure,
was like, if they were even able to watch it, kind of drove home. They didn't win. But you know what? I think they're so, man, I think they feel like, all right, it put them in a place like, all right, I guess we got to show y'all. Like, we're back in this position where nobody believes us. Like, we're back in this spot where you don't think we're legit. So, all right, we're going to show you again. So, whatever they felt, it didn't last long because they practically won a championship anyway. A month later, getting Kevin Durant. Right. Like, real talk in Oakland, like, it was crazy. Everybody, like, you could just see, you could just feel the sadness, right, in the city. Like, people were just like, oh, man, can you believe, like, everywhere you went, can you believe Warriors didn't win? Like, that was the conversation. Wow. And I'm telling you, on July 4th, you would have thought the Warriors were champions.
Man.
Like, it was unbelievable. People were more excited about Kevin Durant than they were sad about the Warriors losing. If they had to choose, I think they would have taken lose Game 7 and give me Durant.
Wow. But it makes sense because Durant, I mean, you talking something long term, bro. You know what I mean? You talking a long term situation. Let me ask you this, man. I hear this from a lot of people that I know that are kind of close to the NBA and stuff like that. And it's the role that the faith plays for a lot of the players on the Warriors. Obviously we know Steph's a Christian. People have told me, other chaplains around the league have said, like, when the Warriors and the Thunder would play, chapel was full, and even when the Warriors are on the road, that's one of the teams where the most members of their team go to chapel and that kind of stuff, man. And as obviously a believer yourself and someone covering the team, man, just talk a bit about just the vibe around the team with respect to faith.
When Mark Jackson was there, and he's a pulpit preacher,
right?
And
street preacher,
it was definitely right, straight up. L.A., huh? Knock on your window and hand you a track, preacher. But when he was there, it was like real overt. It was like overtly the center of how they operated.
Wow.
And it really like impacted their chemistry. Like, because you could see they had a bond. The problem with that was, as we know in our country, religion is just a polarizing thing. So as many people who will like it won't like it. So it just became such a negative. But when he left, that undergirding element was still there. It was still, and really it starts with Steph. As you know, as a diehard sports fan, the best player on the team sets the tone.
Absolutely.
He's the leader in the locker room. So just his disposition, like how he is, how he operates, sets the tone. And I think that's a reason, like, you don't see the Warriors getting arrested before Draymond Green slapped the dude, right? I mean, you just don't see, like, they got dudes on the team who just straight up will not play. Steve Kerr just won't play him, and then he'll play him. And then they'll ball and he'll take them out. Like, all that kind of stuff that in the past you've seen players complain about. Like, they just don't. I mean, they do have their issues, but they just won't bring it to the surface because it would, number one, violate, like, what they built. But number two, they can't because the leader of the team is the one taking all the L's. So it's like you can't. It makes it difficult to bring that out. So one of the things I will say is that as someone who feel like this is my life, my faith, I think it gets overblown in pro sports. I think most of these people who wear Christ's name ain't as about it as ain't as about that life as people think. But I think it is kind of standard and relative to how it is in society. Anybody who sits in the church knows that everybody sitting in that church ain't really about that life.
Right.
So it does. It's kind of amazing how it mimics like real life, and it reminds you they are people. They're people. They're just humans just like us. So they say one thing and they do another. So that's the part that kind of strikes me. It's like you forget they're 25, and what was I doing when I was 25?
Right.
And they're rich, right? So it's like, on one hand, you can hear, people will hear them say, I love the Lord, praise God, I'm blessed. And then be like, man, why was you at the club? because that's what young people do, right? And at some point, the grace allows us time and God develops us to the point where we can overcome some of our vices. But the Warriors, more than any team I've covered, are definitely kind of undergirded with their faith, and I think that starts with Steph.
Man, that's deep, bro. That's deep. Do you think? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about this, like Steph and Kevin Durant being able to coexist, and who's going to be the leading scorer and that kind of stuff. Man, how do they work through that? And then two, I guess, I mean, it takes a special kind of person in Steph to even welcome someone as talented and as big a personality and as great as Kevin Durant to the team, because, there is that, who's going to be the guy?
Kevin Durant said, like, first off, I believe he's been wanting to come to the Warriors, and I believe, this is my personal belief based on what I've heard, I believe he would have came even if the Warriors had won a title.
Wow.
Like,
really?
I believe that the Warriors would have come at him hard anyway.
That's deep.
They still would have presented him the same offer, and it still would have looked as attractive because, it was the same things he's wanted. So it would have just been a matter of could he handle the criticism for going to a two-time champion.
Sure.
So he was able to handle this. I figured he'd be able to handle that, but I don't think it was a deal breaker. But he said he wanted to look Steph in the eye. Like, he wanted to come, but he wanted to look Steph in the eye and see that Steph will welcome him.
Yeah.
For me, that was so interesting.
Sure.
Just because, number one, like, everybody knows Steph's reputation in the league, like, as the nice guy, right?
Right.
So it's like, he was like, hold on, but I've heard that before, right?
Yeah.
I've seen this, so I want to look him in his eye and see if it's real.
Yeah.
And plus, he knows that from Team USA.
Right.
Secondarily, right, like you said, I mean, how many stars are doing this?
Right.
Right? Like, we've seen Wade do it, Dwayne Wade
But him
did
and
it.
LeBron are like best friends, though.
Yeah, they're like boys. That's the thing. Like, so it's almost like, man, like, that's crazy. And on top of that, Steph is the 5th highest paid player on the team.
Wow.
Now 6th.
Right.
So it's like, for him to do that is like, it's kind of crazy. But it also tells you, man, what was really up with Durant and Westbrook?
Sure.
Like, he out here choosing. Durant is like, Westbrook, Steph. I want to look Steph in the eye. He wants to know if Steph will welcome him, which sounds like somebody who isn't as welcome, right? Or isn't as wanted, if he thinks, right? So I think, here's why I think it will work, because people got caught up in Steph shooting so many threes, and they forgot that was by design in Steve Kerr's offense. He had to be coaxed to shoot. That's the most threes he's ever taken. People act like he's been doing this for 5 years. No, Steph, like, he's one of those dudes who would rather pass than look like a hog.
I was going to say his assists have actually gone down a little bit.
Yeah, he don't like that. You know what he don't like? He don't like when people say that he's not a point guard, and he don't like when people think he's hogging. Two things he can't stand.
Steph about to average like 15 assists this year. Then
he's gonna love. Here's what I think Steph is thinking. Number one, I know he's been wanting a number two. He's been wanting somebody he could say, "Man, here, this is on you."
Yep.
Right. And he hasn't had that. People don't really realize that. Like, Clay is a finisher. He's not a creator. He'll finish the shot.
Yep.
Draymond is he can create, but only if you give him an advantage, right? He ain't gonna go 1-on-1. It's got to be set the screen, trap Steph, and now it's 4-on-3, and he got all these options.
Right.
David Lee was an all-star, but he wasn't a guy you could just. Nobody was scared of him, right? You couldn't just be like, all right, David Lee, you carry the team right now.
Right.
Steph has never had that guy who he can say, all right, it's your turn to take over. Right? It's your turn to run the show. So he's got that now. Secondarily, man, if he gets 10 assists, if he averages 10 assists this year, that might be his most exciting accomplishment of all time.
Wow.
Because people were telling him he ain't a point guard his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's been bugging against that. All right? So, I bet you Steph is like, I'm just going to feed KD. KD, you about to lead the league in scoring because I'm going to feed you. I'm just going to feed you and rack up my assists because the quiet is kept. The whole Curry-Westbrook rivalry, that's been going on for years, right? That's been a thing for years.
Where did it start?
And the answer people, it started like, I remember being there a few years ago when Oklahoma City was like, top dog. Yep. And the Warriors were up and coming like 2013. Steph went in there and dropped 38 on Westbrook, right? And, you know, when Steph dropped 38, it's a cold 38. You know what I'm saying? He just hits pull-ups in your face.
That's how I was going to say, that J work. He was giving him that J work,
right?
dog.
That J work does something to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather get dunked on than the dude just keep draining threes on me. Because if I get dunked on, that's just like, all right, what you going to do? LeBron is 6'8", 200 and run like a deer.
Right.
Like, there's nothing I can actually do about
Nothing.
that. But if you know what I'm saying, if DJ Wade-O is just eyeing me all day, like, I'm ready to fight. Like, bro, you ain't just about to just keep hitting jumpers on me, right? So that's how Steph dropped 38, and you could just see Westbrook seething, right? Oh, man, you could see he was so mad, and the Warriors won. It was like a big upset there. But I think that's when it started, because Steph was kind of like, okay. And I think Steph was going at Westbrook because that was a time where people were like, man, Steph is a two-guard. He injury-prone.
Yeah.
Westbrook is a beast. He's a future.
Yep.
So Steph went out there to show, like, man, I'm on this dude's level. And I think the argument people always make between those two is Westbrook is a triple-double guy, and he averages a bunch of assists, right?
Yeah.
What Steph's counter is, he's just throwing it to Durant.
Yeah.
Right? So now he's like, I think he'll love to come out here and average 10 assists just so he could be like, okay, so 1 year I averaged 30 and hit 400 threes. The next year I became a passer and averaged 10 assists. So what y'all got to say about me now?
Right.
I think that's his approach.
Man, that's gonna be interesting to watch, man. If he does that, he pulls that off, bro.
Right, man. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to doubt this dude if he pulls it off again.
Right, right.
I mean, especially if and you know, like as one who like works with youth, right? And I mean, I know you know this. Like we spend so much time trying to change paradigms, right? Trying to get people to think differently. Try to get you out of a me mindset and a materialism mindset. Man, how great would it be as a message to young people to have a guy who was as high as Steph straight step aside and let KD take number one? Yeah. Like, I know he's going to get criticized for it. Like, oh, he let he let Kevin Durant come in and take over. You know, I know he's in, but I respect Wade so much because of what he did. Like, yeah, this is my city, but LeBron, come on, let's go win together.
It's humility,
right?
Humility.
You know what I'm saying? Like that would be the utmost for me. I'd be like, that's where I can stand up and give a golf clap. And I'm not really, I've seen too much, especially behind the scenes, to be overtly praising players, right? Sure. I'm like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I know that's PR, right? I know you didn't write that statement, right? I know that. I know the media was summoned to be there so you could get pictures of charity work, right? Yep. Like, so, but that would be a moment where I could stand up and actually give a dude a golf clap because I'm thinking about all these young people who are following him, and you'll be able to look at your kids and say, Steph Curry shows humility. You don't have to be number one in these streets.
Yeah, that's
right.
Good,
that's not a goal.
Yeah, that's because you know what, man. We at times, man, black people, we feel like that hood mentality. In order for me to come up, I got to step on you to get there. And not we can do this together. And I think, man, just to your point, that would definitely be a great example of not having to do that, bro.
Of course, they got to work, right? They got to win.
Yeah, they got to win. They got to win.
Because if you give the kingdom to KD and then KD is like the number one guy, then they lose, it's gonna be like, oh, Steph, why you didn't just take over? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna write. Yeah, shouldn't have handed the team over. Yeah, what's wrong with you?
You already got it ready.
Man, this season about to be so crazy, man. Like already out here, it's July. We 3 months from the season. And it's already crazy. Yeah. It's media members moving to Oakland.
Wow.
Like, where should I live?
Wow.
Like, yeah, this is about to be my new spot.
Man.
I'm going to be, with the team the whole time.
Wow.
I mean, it's about to be a zoo. It's going to be crazy.
What's the vibe around Team USA right now? Because Vegas, you just had the Summer League championship, too. So it's like all the NBA people out there right now, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's lit. You know what it seems to be like I was here for the last Olympics, and this team seems to be pretty close, despite the fact they haven't played together.
Wow,
it's a little interesting because these teams are usually stacked with guys who are friends. It's LeBron, it's Chris Paul, it's Wade.
Yep.
Now it's like Durant, Melo, and a bunch of new people, right?
Wow.
A bunch of first timers. But like it's a trip. Yesterday I'm watching Draymond, Kyrie, and Clay. They all like chilling, and it's like
with Kyrie,
with Kyrie.
Man,
I was like, man, I love those dudes. Like,
wow.
It's like there's a mutual respect there.
Sure.
It's they're closer than at least they feel closer than what you'd expect since they're all so new, and maybe that's because they're all so new.
Yeah.
Like they're all appreciative to be there, but they've got a nice little bond working, and they're going to play great defense, which is like a chemistry thing.
Yeah.
So Coach K said they might be the best defensive Team USA squad ever.
Really?
I mean, that's how he thinks he thinks they're going to lock it down. I mean, they got some of the pieces, but for defense, if you're going to knuckle down and play some D like that, like you gotta have some kind of bond with the team. You gotta have some spirit.
Yeah.
And then they seem to be building that pretty well.
Well, I was going to say you got Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Draymond, DeAndre Jordan, Klay Thompson. Like those are all elite defenders.
Right? Like buckets is going to be hard for the world to get.
Yeah.
like who out here getting buckets?
Yeah.
On this team, because they got every position. They got somebody who could say, "All right, I got him."
Yep.
And some of these dudes too, like are sleeper defenders. Like I feel like Kyrie figured some stuff out in the playoffs, in the finals,
defensively. Right.
If that dude figures it out, I mean, he already is probably one of the best one-on-one player in the league. But his vice was always, you could go get it right back on him.
Yeah.
So
true.
If he figures some things out on defense where he can at least be, serviceable, man, he might. That might be trouble.
I remember a couple.
I know that's your boy. I know Uncle Drew's your boy.
I'm a Lakers fan, bro. So, I mean,
come on, you don't like the New York City point guards?
He's actually from Jersey. He's from Jersey, so I respect him. I'm a fan in that sense, but everything with me starts and stops with the Lakers, bro.
Man, you just can't say that right now. Like,
hey,
it's not a good time to be confessing that out loud.
See, I've been riding since Magic Johnson, bro. So I'm you know what I mean? I kind of look at it like this, bro. I've seen two dynasties basically. Like I was a little kid when Magic and Kareem was doing their thing, but that's what pulled me in. But then, Kobe and Shaq, and then the run with Kobe and Powell. So it's like, I'm disappointed we in this place right now, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I've seen a lot of winning in my time. I've seen a lot of good basketball, man. So,
Hey, so here's a question for you then.
Okay.
Are you willing to pull off this trade for Westbrook?
Man, see, it's a tough call. I think it depends on what they want. How many of those young pieces we got to give up. But I think I wouldn't want to risk going to free agency to get Westbrook. Because
so you would want Westbrook?
Yeah, I'd take Westbrook, bro. I'd take Westbrook. Again, it depends on what we got to give up. I'd have to see some different trade scenarios, but I could mess with Westbrook, man. I think this experience, maybe not in the short term, but I think in the long run is going to humble him a little bit.
I don't know.
I think he's still going to be a beast, but I think it's going to humble him a bit, man.
I think he might be like, nah, I get all the shots. And just from the Scuttle Underground and even Kevin Durant's comments, man, he and KD ain't cool no more.
Yeah, so, I definitely got that vibe from KD. That's kind of sad, man.
He and KD ain't cool no more, so I think he might be like, oh, I'm about to show this dude I'm getting all the shots.
But see,
I don't know
I
about
think
Westbrook
Westbrook
as
got
the
a little
best
bit of
player.
Kobe in him, man. He got a little Kobe in him.
Oh yeah, not a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can he be the best player? I feel like he needs a point guard. If they kept Russell, I want him. I think Russell Westbrook is the best two guard in the NBA. Like that dude is unstoppable.
Yeah, but
you
see,
can't guard him.
But D'Angelo Russell, I don't know if he
He's a
has the
two guard.
pass first mentality though.
Yeah, but he's young. You can mold him.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you need a shooter. You need a shooter at point, especially next to Westbrook.
Yeah.
You know, he's an inconsistent shooter. But
Yeah.
I just feel like if you told this dude, all right, here's your one assignment: destroy the opponent. Like, forget this trying to set people up
Yep.
and trying to read who's
Yep.
hot and who's not and all. Like, dude, just go be a beast.
Yep.
I think that's what he needs.
Yep.
And when they made it to the finals, they had James Harden, who kind of became that cerebral player at the point and put Westbrook and Durant to either side, and he was running the show.
Yeah, ain't that
especially
crazy
at the
to think
critical
about
time.
that? Like to remember that,
Yeah.
because that is how it flowed. But you look at James Harden now, you like he the king of hero ball.
And he was like, I used to like him. Like, man, I
Yeah.
like that dude. He should just start at point. I don't know why they playing.
Yep.
I should don't start him at point.
Yeah.
I feel like if Westbrook had a point guard, and it would just change his life.
Yeah.
You know, he'd
Yeah.
just be like, oh, I don't got to think about that stuff no more. Okay, watch me average 30. Easy.
Yeah, because he's got that skill set, man.
Yeah, he a monster.
He's got that skill
He's
set, man.
unstoppable.
So let's talk music a little bit, man. Who you digging musically right now, bro?
Man, so in the process of covering like that crazy season, I didn't really.
You ain't listening to no
I didn't
music.
really have time. I didn't listen to new. I had to lean on my faithfuls, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had to lean on my faithfuls. I had to really get like me and Cray, me and Anomaly.
Yeah.
We got a special relationship. Me and my hey, real talk. Me and my Breaks Over mixtape. What? You know.
Look, I haven't listened to the Breaks Over mixtapes in a little while, man.
Come on, man. Brilliant Realness is mine.
Yeah.
When I need to get hyped.
That's your joint.
So I got the so here the two newest ones was Purple Heart with 7, and then Sean Burgundy's new joint.
Yeah.
So those are the two new ones that I've been rocking. 7, man. 7 puts me in like 7 had me thinking about life. Like that emotive style he's got, right? And he starts singing. It's like it's like, man, when I need to think about something, that Purple Heart is kind of on the list.
Yeah.
I feel like Sean Burgundy's album is so timely. You know, like what he's saying is so relevant
Yep.
to our time. So those are the only two new I've been rocking. Other than that, it's Anomaly, it's The Good Fight, Bizzle, The Good Fight.
Yeah.
It's Cinema. Like I'm leaning on Faithfuls because I'm functioning on like prayer and coffee.
Man,
That's how I'm rolling.
the thing that I told Eshawn this not too long ago, I was like, you find a way every project you release to put a fresh spin on a timeless message in the gospel. It's like every project he puts out is super gospel centered, and the core of it is the gospel, but it's just like every time out it just sounds super fresh, man. It's amazing to me, man.
Man, he's such a thinker, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a part that, like rappers need to grasp better.
Yeah.
That, he is, you could tell he uses his brain. And I don't say that like obviously a lyrical skill is a brain activity, but there's so much thought put into what he's saying, into every bar.
Yeah.
And, it's just like you can't listen to him without thinking. He reminds me, he gives me the same, not the same spirit, even though it's different, as like Theophanes. Akeem Theophanes is like, and you every time you listen to it, you're gonna get you'll get something to chew on.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate that, especially as someone who like when you're in sports, sometimes you can feel like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a lot of time and effort and energy and money devoted to basketball. You know?
Yeah.
So sometimes, I gotta get my paradigm together. I gotta start be reminded of what really matters. So I appreciate that about him. But sometimes I just need to zone out to that anomaly or gravity. Let me tell you about how what's that song? How was it? I think it's called Timepiece.
Yes.
Lights Off.
Yep.
Man, me and that song, we got, like, if I got married again, I'd probably get married to that.
Wow.
that song has got me through so many deadlines.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I'm just like, yo, I need like 800 words in 17 minutes.
Man.
All right, Craig, get me home. Get me home, Craig.
Man, oh man. So I got to ask you this, man. Just as a sports journalist, we're doing this interview on the day that would be Stuart Scott's birthday, and obviously, rest in peace to Stuart Scott, man. Legend in the kind of the broadcasting business, man. Man, just any thoughts you have on Stuart Scott, bro?
Let me tell you about. Like, everybody knows Stuart Scott because he was a great broadcaster.
Yep.
And when people pass, there's a natural human instinct to lionize, right?
Yep.
To highlight the best in people. But like, he's one of those dudes where it was 1,000% legit to say he was a better person than he was a broadcaster. Like, he said, oh, he's a great broadcaster, but he's an even better person. Like, as a young guy coming into the business, there was no better connect you could have, right?
Wow.
Like, that dude was a genuine guy. Because, we was coming up, and I went to Clark Atlanta University, so, we go to these conventions, and you see Stuart Scott, you get all juiced, and he'd be juiced to see you. I remember, like, we were trying to get the courage to go be like, man, I was like, I'm going to go talk to him. Everybody was like, oh, no, I'm like, I'm going. Went and talked to him. Man, that dude chatted with me for like 8 minutes.
Wow.
It was unbelievable, right? And every time I met him here on out, he was always like a great dude, helpful, very kind, like literally. And you could tell just by how many people rave about him. Like, it's not like, at a funeral of Pookie Nim where everybody's setting up line about how great he was, right? Like, that dude was legitimately a great guy. And for me, like, especially as I'm getting older, like, that's the stuff that touches me. It's like, you know what? We as African Americans in this predominantly white industry, we don't really find as much loyalty as people think from these black athletes. We certainly don't find comfort in readers and fans, who media's the villain. Everybody knows that. It's the media's the villain. Players are blaming me. Everybody blaming the media. And it's so hard to get in this business and stay in this business. I sincerely appreciate guys like Stuart Scott, guys like Mark Spears, who's now at ESPN, who are legitimately about helping other people. Yeah. Period. Yeah. They have not sold out to the cutthroat spirit of this profession, right? They haven't sold out to the celebrity of this profession. They are genuinely kind people who will help you in any moment. And Stuart Scott was the first star journalist I ever met who felt like that, right? Who you felt like you walked away after one experience and like, I got a friend, I got to connect, right? Yeah. I know this dude named Stuart at ESPN, right? That's how he made you feel. Right? That's how he made you feel. He was a legit good guy, great guy. He was a tremendous loss for this world, really.
Yeah, man. Tough, man. I even, just as a fan, man, I just even think about how he changed how broadcasters communicate. You know what I mean? It was like before him, man, it was just like everything was like straight lacing, man. This dude started. He was talking on Sports Center the way that we talked in the barbershop. I was like,
man, that was crazy. Like I don't even think we understood how significant that was.
Yeah.
Like me, I was 14 years old watching Sports Center.
yeah,
And man, like how many times do we get to see us on the mainstream, right? And like I didn't know how invaluable that was back then.
Yep.
Right, but now I'm like, that matters, right? Like as standards of beauty change, like we could see the effect in little girls and how they identify themselves, right? When beauty becomes much more universal than just some mainstream philosophy of thin and, busty and all that other crazy stuff that people define beautiful as. Same thing with this type of stuff. Like the standard of what's professional has changed to include us. And people like Stuart Scott, like is a part of. Remember, you couldn't wear jeans to work,
right?
Now it's like, right where like that stuff matters. And there are many young people who are in journalism now because Stuart Scott said, just how you are, like, it's also acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of you isn't bad. You can do this. Look at me. Like, I'm showing you how. I'm making this stuff acceptable. I'm making it cool. And as a result of that, we got stuff like First Take and, and all these other other outlets and entities that have embraced hood vernacular and slang and pop culture as mainstream. Like, that wasn't the case when I was a kid. Like, we couldn't even say ain't in my grandma's house.
Right.
Now hella is in the dictionary.
Exactly.
What? When they put that in there, it was over. I was like, y'all can't tell me nothing now.
That's like the legendary Bay Area slang right there, bro.
Man, we Bay Area went nationwide.
Right.
Like, Too Short ain't even Oakland no more now.
Right.
Like he's like a crown jewel of the country. So hella had to be in there. Like E40. Remember E40 was black?
Yeah.
Like, I remember arguing with people all the time.
Yeah.
People was like, E40 is terrible. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Now, like, E40 rolling there. E40 doing songs with Lecrae.
Right.
And Brandon P.
Yeah, I was going to say in Black Knight. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he doing songs with Black Knight. Like, what? We universal right now. You about to start saying hella. You slip sometimes.
Hey, I ain't gonna front.
Talking to your Laker fans.
Nah, you know what it is? If I'm around the Dream Junkies too much, like I hung out with them, they came out here and I started saying it because they say it all the time. You know what I mean? And yeah, bro, it just start rubbing off on you. It's one
there
of
you go,
things, man.
So hold on, Belief Mel say hella.
He doesn't, but Give says it all the time.
I was about to say, man.
Belief doesn't really say it, but Give says it a lot, and Ruslan says it too. Ruslan does too.
Yeah, I can see Ruslan saying it.
Yeah.
I'm already a Belief fan, so if he even said hella, oh man, come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he does it, but I don't think I've heard him say it, man. I don't think I've heard him say it.
It's cool. As long as we got you, we good.
Hey. That's good though, man. Well, listen, bro, we definitely gonna have to have you back on, especially during the season. I know things is gonna be hectic, man. But man, this is a good time to be a Bay Area resident with all the stuff y'all got going on out there, man. And even Andre
Especially
Ward.
since the Raiders about to win the Super Bowl. Don't sleep. The Raiders is back before we go to Vegas.
You might have went too far with that one, bro.
I know. You gotta control me, man.
Y'all got the Giants been killing. Obviously, you got the Warriors. The 49ers a couple years ago was killing. You just going too far with the Raiders.
Sharks make the Stanley Cup final.
There you go. See? You just went too far with the Raiders, man. I know you Oakland to the death, but I'm just saying, bro.
I'm just saying. When they're in the Super Bowl, we're gonna have to have this conversation again.
I can't call
We're in
it.
the
If
Super Bowl
they
next
make
year.
the Super Bowl, I don't know what I'll do, bro. Jesus might come back. That happened, bro. He just is like, you know what?
He
it's
might
time to
come back like before the final kneel. Like, yeah, I've seen enough. It's time to transition to glory. right before the final seconds, you go hear Trump.
Oh man, he coming back. If they won the AFC Championship game, he'd be like, "Nope, Super Bowl can't happen. I'm coming back."
Like, nah, we don't need the devastation that will ensue when Raider fans have a right to go crazy.
Oh man, so funny, man. Well, listen, man.
Anytime, man. I'll be back anytime. Just
Absolutely, man. If you guys aren't following Marcus on Twitter, it's Marcus Scribe. Is the
Thompson Scribe.
Thompson Scribe. I'm sorry. Thompson Scribe. And what about on Snap and Instagram, bro?
Everything I do is Thompson Scribe.
Thompson Scribe. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm in Vegas, so I'm about to get me a tattoo.
Thompson Scribe.
Thompson Scribe across, like instead of Thug Life, it's gonna say Thompson Scribe. Just to let them know.
Hilarious, bro. Hilarious, man. Well, yo, appreciate you, bro, and man, you know you always welcome on the show, bro.
Yes, sir. Keep me in prayer.
Absolutely, man. Done deal, man.
On the Wado Radio Show. On the Wado Radio. On the Wado Radio Show. Where it's much more than music, it's ministry.